Welcome back to the show, and now it is time for the WrestleMania review. And, I'm going to start with the Battle Royal. I did not see the Battle Royal. Kane obviously won it, but I don't have to worry about that. So, I'll get into that one a little bit later on. The first match I was on the pay-per-view was the Belfast Brawl between Finlay and JBL. Now, I gotta say, I was a little bit surprised that this was the first match on the pay-per-view, but in hindsight, it was actually the right move. It was the right thing to do, have that match go on first instead of the Money in the Bank ladder match, because I felt last year Money in the Bank going first felt a little bit weird. But Finlay and JBL, the two veterans that they are, put on a good match. I felt it was a good opening contest. Obviously not the level of Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, but it was a good opening match, and it really set the tempo for the evening. The next match, which I felt was the best match of the night in my opinion, was Money in the Bank. And I've seen the previous three, and I can honestly say that this one was the best one to date for two reasons. Number one, it was more innovative with what the seven men could do in the ring with the ladders, especially with Morrison when he did that moonsault with the ladder onto the guys. It was like you've never seen anything like that. And then, Shelton Benjamin being on that ladder and then the ladder tipping and he went through the ladder. Now I know you're saying, well, Bill, Edge went through a ladder last year at WrestleMania. The only difference is Edge was like literally lying on the ladder when Jeff jumped on him. Shelton was climbing the ladder and then two people were tipping the ladder over and he went through the ladder. That was a lot more, a lot different, and it was a lot better, I felt, as a bump than Edge's was. And I think the second reason why I think it was the best Money in the Bank, and I will defend this until another one tops it, is because of how different, the competitors were. Because it was either, like with the previous 3 years, like 2 years in a row of Benjamin, maybe twice of Edge, and of like a Hardy being in it, but yeah, Jericho had been in it before, and yeah, Kennedy had been in it before, and yeah, Benjamin had been in it before, but with Benjamin and Jericho, they hadn't been in it. Especially with Jericho, he hadn't been in a WrestleMania match in 2 years. Benjamin wasn't even on the show last year. And then you add in Punk, who, was his second go-around. You add Morrison, you add Carlito, and you add MVP. Those are 3 new parts of the great match, and then Matt Hardy getting involved, and then just the ending in general was very good with CM Punk getting the win. And a little bit later on I'll give you the question of the week, which involves CM Punk. And then after that was Batista and Umaga. Now, I'm not going to say I was disappointed in this match. I really wasn't expecting the best out of both men, only because it felt a little bit rushed, I felt. But it was an okay match, it could have been maybe a little bit better. The hype could have been a little bit better. But the one thing that I must have missed, and somebody can either help me on this, was that whoever won the match, their title match would be the main event. It's like, did they say that on SmackDown or Raw, or, I really missed that. So somebody got to fill me in on that. And then was the worst match of the night, Chavo Guerrero against Kane. And the only reason why it was the worst match of the night was because it only went about 15 seconds. Kane winning the ECW title, I feel, is a very good move. Kane hasn't had a title in a long time, and I think he can actually be a very good ECW heavyweight champion. And then the most emotional match of the night, Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels, and it's sort of sad that we all knew who was going to win that match, but the match itself was a WrestleMania moment. And I had that discussion 2 weeks ago, how there are those WrestleMania moments that are like, that's not really a WrestleMania moment because it was sort of already planned. And then there are those WrestleMania moments that just happen. It just comes from within the heart and the soul. And this in particular came from within the heart and the soul of both Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. And the ending is what gets me. When you look at Shawn Michaels, he zooms in and he says 5 words: "I'm sorry, I love you." And then he gives Flair the super music, and then Sweet Chin music, and then the picture of Michaels and Flair at the end with Flair crying. It was just absolutely amazing. And then after that, the Lumberjack match, Phoenix and Melina beating Ashley and Maria. This match, honestly, I'm not going to say it was better than Batista and Umaga, but it was a lot better than Kane and Chavo. And it really, I think, surprised me. It was actually somewhat of a decent wrestling match. And then the WWE title, a triple threat match, John Cena, Triple H, and Randy Orton. And to me, I felt that this was the better of the two title matches, the big ones. And Randy Orton surprisingly getting the win. And I felt that the way that match ended was so perfect, because Triple H had hit the pedigree, and I honestly thought Triple H was going to win the title. And when the hand's about to come down for the 3, Orton kicks him in the head, and then he takes the advantage, pins Cena, gets the win. That was a fantastic ending to that match. So a very good match. And, the 3 triple threat matches we've had in 3 of the last 6 WrestleManias, this one is above Orton, Angle, Mysterio, but it is below Benoit, Triple H, and Michaels. And then after that, Big Show against Mayweather. What do you expect? There really wasn't going to be much of, can he do this, can he do that? I love the idea that, Mayweather was trying to avoid Big Show, and then Big Show got him, and he beat the bejesus out of him, and then his posse was trying to get him out, trying to get involved. And I felt the brass knuckles thing was sort of a bad ending to that match. And, Mayweather won, but gotta give Big Show credit. He did this for the business. He took one for the team, and he knew that. He knew that. And then, what I gotta say is the worst moment of the night. And I swear to God, this was the worst thing. Kim Kardashian comes out to the ring, announces the attendance. 74,635 fans were in attendance for WrestleMania. And then after that, before they go to the video for Edge and Undertaker, Kim Kardashian goes, "That's big!" Wow, that is like the most unnecessary comment ever. And then the finale, Edge against Undertaker, it wasn't that good of a match, I felt, but it makes me glad that Edge was in the main event of WrestleMania. He was in the last match. He'd worked so hard. He'd been in the company for 10 years now, and he'd been through, trials and tribulations, and to be in the main event of the biggest show of the year, and he held up his end of the bargain. He really did. And then Michael Cole with the second stupidest thing in the night, when Undertaker had Edge in the triangle hold, for the win. Michael Cole's like, "Oh, Undertaker, he's got him in that submission hold. It's that submission hold. Can Edge get out of this submission hold? I don't know. Oh, he tapped out of the submission hold. It's over." Michael Cole is such a dumbass. So that's my WrestleMania review. I give this show 2 thumbs up. I feel this has been the best WrestleMania since WrestleMania 20. I don't know where it's going to rank all time. It's going to depend on history itself. And then real quick, Monday night, the Ric Flair tribute. I was going to make a video about this, but I decided not to. To me, that ending was not only the best moment in the history of Raw. When they do the 20th anniversary, when they do their, list of the greatest Raw moments, that's number 1 on my list. And I also got to think, that is the greatest moment in the history of wrestling. Just the way that WWE did that. It was very classy, very respectful, and just very great. It was phenomenal. Gotta take a break. TNA and Ring of Honor now.